I'm so happy to be introducing our city manager, Marlon Brown, to be our guest today. Marlon and I guess got to know one another 4 years ago, and I really enjoyed the experience. It was about a year ago exactly, Marlon, that I believe you were officially made city manager. So on that anniversary, we would like to welcome you as our guest speaker. Um, it seemed like a good time to have City Manager Brown with us. It's near the start of the year. There are a number of specific projects that are moving ahead in of interest to downtown residents. And as funny as it may be seeing the initial uh, uh, planning for next fiscal year's budget is being discussed right now, and we'll be moving ahead up through May and through adoption, in more or less adoption in the summer. So possibly Marlon might tell us about some of the initiatives that he sees that might be coming down the path. So Marlon, the format we've kind of agreed is Marlon's going to speak for 10 or 15 minutes with a general update, and then we'll have an opportunity for board members to have a little back and forth dialogue with some questions and so forth. So with that said, Marlon, would you take it away, sir?
Okay, thank you very much, David, for that introduction, and thanks for having me. I believe, David, you're correct. It was probably about a year ago that I last spoke to the Downtown Sarasota Condominium Association. So again, thanks for having me back again. Yes, it's been a 1-year anniversary. I don't know if I'm still on my honeymoon or if the honeymoon has ended, but it has been a really good, I think, successful year that the city of Sarasota has seen. So with that, just a quick couple of dates. And David, what I really want to do is I'm going to kind of speak less and open it up more for questions. I believe I have like 30 minutes on this Zoom call. So I'm going to really leave it up to more questions than giving updates. I think the biggest thing that that I will say that the city has done over the last year was Bobby Jones. By far, I think the decision and the approval that the commission gave to put into perpetuity conservation easement over the 261 acres is really long lasting and an enduring legacy that will be upon us and our generations after generations for a long time. And so I look forward to seeing what the fruits of that decision would bear. Obviously, the first step is to get the construction of those 18 holes completed, and then the 9-hole executive course completed as well. Working right now together with the Conservation Foundation of the Gulf Coast to see what we can do with the nature park part of that 261 acres, and then also to see what will happen with the 12 acres that we convey to Sarasota County for a regional destination playground for tots and young kids. So I think in terms of what we will foresee with the 261 acres will be really, really exciting for this community and for the community as a whole as it develops over the next year to 5 years to 10 years. And I will say that at the end of this, in maybe 50 years, 75 years, or 100 years, as I said at the dais, this will be the central park of Sarasota and Sarasota County. As everything grows up around it, as everything develops around it, this 261 acres will remain green space, and people are going to look back at all of us, David, you included, and say what a legacy decision that was made in terms of preserving the 261 acres. So that's Bobby Jones. I'm not going to touch much on the Bay Park. That is continuing to move forward. The first phase is underway. And we're very excited to see what happens come, June, July, August, September, when phases open piece by piece on that phase one. The mangrove walk is completed. The bayou has been dredged. And many of you who may have walked that site, seeing the concession area, the restrooms, the shade structure, all of that is going up right now as we speak. And so I'm very excited about what the future holds for the 53 acres as we work together with the Bay Park Conservancy to see each one of those phases develop. Right now, they're going through some comp plan amendments, some zoning text amendments to see how we can really move with a little bit more urgency in getting that 53 acres turned from asphalt and concrete into a blue-green oasis. And it is not to try to cut corners, but it's really to try to see how quickly we can deliver to this community a really awesome park that people can enjoy for years and years and generations to come. Part of the Bay Park, obviously, is the Sarasota Performing Arts Center. That is the new performing arts hall that is under conceptual design right now. We're looking at about 2,200 seats that will take the place of the existing Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall that has served us for the last 40 to 50 years. In working with the Van Wezel Foundation, this is another true monumentous task in of itself that I think this community will be proud of once this project is completed. They're in the fundraising campaign right now. They had their gala this past last week and announced that they have raised the first $20 million towards the new Performing Arts Hall, which will also have a 400-seat education facility. It will be a state-of-the-art facility as well that some of the Broadway shows that we can't really host right now at the existing Van Wezel Hall would be able to come to this new Performing Arts Hall. It will be located right there at the corner of 10th and 41, and it will be a true attraction that when people drive by and they see this new Performing Arts Hall, I think it will spark their interest to ask what else is beyond that Performing Arts Hall. And once people get into that 53 acres, I think they will be astounded as to what they will see and what will be inviting them to not only visit the Performing Arts Hall, but to visit the 53 acres. And so, putting that aside, that is going to be a heavy lift. It'll be a heavy lift in terms of fundraising. The estimated costs for that new Performing Arts Hall could be anywhere between 250 million to 350 million. Once the conceptual design is more fine-tuned in terms of getting to a true design, getting some architects on board, we'll have a true cost as to what that Performing Arts Hall will cost us. At a staff level, obviously the commission has not yet approved this. At a staff level, we have tentatively agreed that the city, through either the TIF, the tax increment financing, and or state or federal funds that may become available, that we will help secure at least 50% of the cost of construction for that Performing Arts Hall. But again, this has to be approved by the City Commission. And we're working together right now with the Van Wezel Foundation to put an agreement together that will go before the City Commission on that front. A couple of projects that are of interest to the Downtown Sarasota Condominium Association and those of you who live in the Rosemary District. We expect that in the next week or two that we'll have the demolition permits for the Rosemary Pocket Park. That David Lough has been riding herd for the last, 3 years to get done. But the permits should be ready definitely in the next week or two. By the end of February, we hope to have the demolition done. Kimberly Horn is working right now on some conceptual designs for the park, and we estimate that hopefully by mid-March the demo should be completed. The timeline for construction will obviously be determined once we get the design and once we determine how much it's going to cost to get the park done. I will tell you, for those of you who attended the Pink Fest the last 2 weeks ago, I am really excited about what the Rosemary District, will end up being. From all the murals that I see going up, from the types of street events that are happening in terms of the night market, I just foresee Rosemary being the next place to be in terms of our downtown area and just what's happening, to really draw individuals to really have events and have entertainment in and around our downtown. So, David, kudos to you, and kudos to Anand and all of those who are involved with the Rosemary District in terms of really creating a space that people could enjoy and could really have some fellowship. Another couple of projects that we're working on, obviously Boulevard of the Arts and 10th Street. Just a quick couple updates on those projects. If you can just hold on one quick second, let me just quickly get to those projects, give you some updates. My screen isn't working here quickly. Okay, here we go. All right, on the Boulevard of the Arts and the 10th Street, Kimberly Horn has started the work on the streetscape concept. The community survey has been issued, and I think many of you have already participated in that survey. It has been sent to the Downtown Sarasota Condominium Association with distribution. So as I said, I believe many of you already have it. The city also will be hosting a public meeting in the spring once Kimberly Horn has developed the concepts for you all to review that and to see the type of designs that we've come up with to really make these streets available to all. When I say available, I mean pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists alike. We're also working on an intersection design for US 41 and Boulevard of the Arts. We initially had conceptualized putting a roundabout there, but we just don't have the necessary right-of-way to really have a really good functional roundabout. So I know that staff had met with David. I believe that they may have met with DSCA, I believe, in last week or week before, to share those concepts. And again, we will continue working with those designs. Obviously, we have to work with FDOT to finalize those, but again, the commission will have to also approve that design as well. More towards downtown and Main Street. Again, we're looking to have 2 projects on Main Street. One will be on Upper Main between Links and 301. That project will be done together with the 1991 Main that's about to be under construction, a 400+ unit apartment complex with commercial space on the ground floor. They are doing the north side of Main Street. We have committed to do the south side. What we want to do is kind of replicate what's on Lower Main between 5 Points and Gulfstream. We want to do the same thing for Upper Main with wider sidewalks, the ability to have sidewalk cafes, and the ability for people to feel safe in terms of using, the sidewalks and the pedestrian ways. The next project that we're working on is Main Street between 5 Points and Orange. And again, there are a number of concepts that have been envisioned. One that one that they did had done through John Moran and David Johnson, that kind of replicate what Lemon Avenue looked like. I am not too keen on that one because of the cost associated with that. I hope everyone can still see me. Can you still see me? Hello?
Hello? No.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm on my phone, so I keep. Let me see if I can get back here. All right, can you all see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
Yes, much better.
My phone went dead just now there. Anyway, So we want to have the same concept as Lower Main, also between Orange and 5 Points. Again, widening the sidewalks, creating a more pedestrian environment, creating a more safe environment for not only vehicles but pedestrians alike. And so we want to widen the sidewalks, put in some landscaping. I don't believe doing a Lemon Avenue style design is the right design for Main Street, but again, at the end of the day, we'll see where where the cards lay for those designs. And again, cost is going to be one of the biggest issues. Kind of turning a little bit on the direction I've given my staff on a lot of these major projects that we're talking about. Everyone is aware that the federal stimulus bill has been approved. It's a huge infrastructure bill. I have told my staff that I want us to be very competitive when it comes to being able to tap into those infrastructure dollars. So if many of you remember the last infrastructure bill that was done under President Obama, a lot of the money went to those projects that were what were so-called shovel ready, that were already in design. And so we are expediting a lot of these designs. We are expediting a lot of the conceptual design so that when the dollars start flowing through the state, through the state agencies and departments, Sarasota can put its hand up first and say, hey, we're ready. We have the design. We just need the money to be able to do the construction. So a lot of these projects that we spoke about, whether it's 10th Street, Complete Street, the Boulevard of the Arts, Complete Street, the intersection design at Boulevard of the Arts on 41, Main Street, all of these projects, I really want them to be shovel ready. We talk about Bobby Jones. I want these projects to be shovel ready so we can be very competitive and we can be first in line that when these infrastructure dollars become available. It means, really helping our economy. It means creating jobs. It really means, putting Sarasota on the forefront of, getting ready for these dollars. One of the things that the commission is getting, the commission has done is also approve the strategic plan. I'm not going to go into the details of that. That was approved at the last city commission meeting. It's available or should already be available on our website. But take an opportunity to peruse the strategic plan and see what the 10 new projects are that the commission will be and the city will be undertaking over the next 2 years. It's not a difficult read, unlike previous strategic plans. And one of the things that I have directed staff to do is really make sure that these projects, and again, this is understanding their workload, that these projects are also a priority, for the community. Big meeting that's coming up next Monday is the commission's first review of the projects that will be possibly funded by the extension of the surtax that will become available. This is the penny that will become available in 2025. We have about 30-something projects that staff is recommending that the commission approve to move forward. It's about $191 million over the next 15 years, starting in 2025. The current penny ends in 2024, December of 2024. I think this is, again, everyone who is on this call, this is probably one of the most important votes that you're going to be taking in November, is to extend this penny for another 15 years. These are your roads, these are your bridges, these are your parks, these are, we talk about complete streets. These are water quality projects. These are, items dealing with water quality in terms of ensuring that the water that flows into Sarasota Bay and it flows into the Gulf is clean, that we have our seagrasses growing, that we have the fish and the fauna, that lives in the water, that they're able to live and habitate in those waters. This is one of the most important votes that you will take in 2022 when this vote comes up in November. Barring everything else that's on the ballot, I can't advocate for you to vote one way or the other, but all I can do is educate you in terms of the importance of this vote. 25% of the money goes towards the schools and the school board. 75% is shared between the municipalities in Sarasota County for infrastructure. So I have spoken for about 22, well, about 15 minutes. It's 4:22. So, David, I really want to open it up for questions that individuals may have. I know I don't have a lot of time, but I really want to open it up. There's so much I can speak about. We have the budget that's coming up for the next fiscal year. Last year, we were able to roll back the millage rate. I hope that may have saved many of you who are on here a couple of dollars in your pocket that you can probably go to McDonald's and buy you a Big Mac. But you know, my hope is that you know, working with staff, working with the commission, we can take a look at what our budget looks like and see what we can do to either maintain the high level of service that we provide to you on a daily basis, without you know, digging deep into our citizens and our taxpayers' wallets. So, David, with that, let me just open it up to everyone and see what
Yeah,
questions.
board members, raise your hand, or Bob Perillo, why don't you have the first question for Marlon?
Yeah. Hi, Marlon. I was pleased to see that the governor gave the Bay Park $10.1 million a couple of weeks ago. And part of that project is for improvement of Hog Creek. Do you have any details or idea of what exactly they'll be doing to Hog Creek? Oh, I'm sure they'll be dredging and some perhaps replantings.
So, Bob, you hit the nail on the head. Yes, you know, so kind of similar to what we did. You answered the question for yourself. Kind of similar to what they did with the bayou that runs between Boulevard of the Arts and the Van Wezel, in terms of cleaning that up, dredging it, making sure that you know, a lot of the muck and sediment and you know, heavy metals, that would be the same that would be done for Hog Creek. They don't have anything in detail yet. They'll be working with their environmental engineers to come up with what should be done with Hog Creek. But you know, I have so much confidence in the Bay Park staff. You know, they have done such a tremendous job with little oversight from the city. I am just excited to see what will happen as they take on each phase by each phase. And you know, one of the things that they did recently was, if you take a look at, you know, one of the lawn bowling lawns, working with the lawn bowling club, took over one of the lawns, re-landscaped it, replanted it. This staff is doing a heck of a job, you know, with that 53 acres. So I'm excited about it. Thanks, Bob.
Okay. Other board members, Kathy. You're muted, Kathy.
I apologize. I have a question for you, Marlon, regarding the February 14th meeting that's going to be taking place with Mr. Covers to share some of the zoning changes that he's going to propose for the commercial center and the commercial corridor downtown. What do you see as one of your biggest priorities, or something that you are looking to see come out of that? Or could you just share with a little bit of insight into that?
Kathy, awesome question. Really good question. And so, you know, one of the things that, you know, that has always bothered me, especially with the commercial corridors and the commercial centers, and I'll get to downtown in a while, is seeing a lot of these shopping centers that sit with a sea of asphalt, and it just cries out for really some really good mixed-use development. And so one of the more exciting things that I am looking forward to when Mr. Cover does his presentation is what they've come up with to really take some of these strip centers, these commercial centers, and seeing what they're doing in terms of mixed use. And when I say mixed use, I really want to focus on housing and affordable housing. And, you know, one of the things that I was watching the news the other day, and someone was talking about how rents are now as much as mortgages in this community. You know, we have to find a way to keep a lot of our workers, you know, who help in our downtown areas, who help in some of these offices, whether they're teachers, whether they're, you know, waiters and waitresses, bank tellers. We have to find a way to keep them in our community. And so I am looking forward to seeing what type of mixed use comes out of the proposals for the commercial centers and the commercial corridors. kind of switching to downtown. Downtown, I think what I need to do with downtown is to kind of step back and kind of get a little bit more involvement from those of you who live in the downtown area on what you want to see for our downtown. For us to come out and say, this is what should happen to downtown. This is the type of uses should be in downtown. This is the type of density should be in downtown. This is the type of height should be in downtown. I think it's going to create a lot of angst. And so I am going to, you'll probably hear me recommend to the commission to kind of hold off on downtown. Let's kind of wait and work together with DSCA and some of our our constituents in the downtown area and come up with a plan that, I know we can't please everyone, but come up with a plan that at least the majority of individuals can somewhat say, okay, I can live with that. And so I am more excited about the commercial centers and commercial corridors than downtown. Downtown, I think downtown needs more work. And so Kathy, just in a nutshell, that is what I can share right now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, and Patrick, I see your hands up.
Yeah, Marlon, picking up on that, and again, thank you for all that you and your staff are doing to engage. We especially appreciate Nick and the engineering and transportation planning, engaging on some of those projects, engaging with the residents and getting feedback and trying to make adjustments there. We understand, I know David has shared with you all the commercial development, the construction going on and all the new residential, and all that you're doing to create more walkable city. Unfortunately, the construction and the closures of the sidewalks, the multi-use recreational trail closures because of the construction right up to property lines. Therefore, the construction overloads onto the public realm sidewalks. As we're going forward, is there anything that can be done to try and keep our pedestrian bicycle thoroughfares a little more open? We embrace the construction, but I know it's a challenge for you.
Yeah, really good question, Patrick. And many of you have visited big cities, and I don't know why we don't do that here in the city of Sarasota. I've been to New York multiple times, and again, those buildings are right up to the street, but yet they use a lot of scaffolding and create passageways for individuals to get under and get through and get around. And so it's probably something, Patrick, that we need to explore. You're right. Sometimes there's no need to close a sidewalk or to close a MRT, and we need to be a little bit more creative in terms of how we keep pedestrian ways open. And so you've given me something to think about, and I will make sure that I'm working with Nick. Nick is, what a really creative mind. Someone who's willing to really work outside of the box. Even coming from FDOT, we're not going to hold that against him. But let me talk to Nick in terms of what we can do to really ensure that pedestrian ways are kept open and kept safe in a construction zone.
Okay, and Ken, for you, sir.
Okay, Marlon, I have two comments. They aren't really questions, but one is jumping off from the comment you just made before you talked to Patrick, and that is relating to strategic planning for the city. Downtown is where the major residential development is going on right now, and downtown is where the major business development is. It's where the major cultural assets are in the city. A major part of the tax revenue for the city is generated downtown. And you're working on a lot of innovative projects downtown, like connectivity and pedestrian safety and complete streets. And so I know traditionally you have looked to CCNA for ideas and feedback on strategic planning. I'm hoping, since the urban core is really driving the direction of this city now, that you will give equal weight to input from DSCA as well as CCNA. The other comment I wanted to make had to do with the Van Wezel. Several of us have already been talking to Cheryl Mendelson about the Van Wezel. In fact, we did a survey for her for the usefulness of that 400-seat theater. But parking is an issue for us. And I know you're at the conceptual stage for this, and there are no answers to this question at this point, but we are concerned about parking for the Van Wezel in the future.
Right.
That's it.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, and Ken, I know those were comments, but you are correct in terms of ensuring that our that constituency that lives in the downtown is given as much weight as CCNA. But I must say that downtown and our commercial centers, our commercial corridors, whether it's St. Armand's, downtown, the Newtown Business District, the Southside Business District, they belong to everyone in the city. But I agree with you that we will look towards that constituency that lives and works and has all the activity, the business,
Pays for
exactly the commercial transactions happening. They know the heartbeat of what's happening there, and so we should include them. In terms of the parking for the Sarasota Performing Arts Center, the new one, we had engaged Walker Planning to do a study, working with Mark Lyons and working with Kimberly Horn, and we have come up with a determination as to how many parking spaces is needed for the new Performing Arts Hall. Remember, a lot of new innovative ways of people getting back and forth. That is changing in terms of things like Uber and Lyft and water taxis, and we now have scooters and electric bikes. So we're going to be looking at all those things, Ken, in terms of the number of spaces that are needed. What we have right now at the Van Wezel for a 1,700-seat theater are not the same amount that we need moving forward for the 2,200 seats. And so we'll be looking at that. It'll be finalized once we get a little bit more into the details of the design.
Alan, and then one more that I think I'm going to take, but Alan, for you now.
Yes, thanks. I join everyone in thanking you. This has been a very good session. Just following up on that parking for the new Performing Arts Center. I think in addition to the number of spaces, we have the aesthetic question. And you kind of touched on this when you were talking about those strip malls. There would be nothing less attractive than having a beautiful Performing Arts Center and having basically 1,200, 15, 2,000 spaces around it. Even with all those things feeding into it that you just described, there's going to be a need, clearly, especially with the demographics of this area, to have on-site parking. And I would hope that the aesthetics of that parking would take a very, very high priority in the planning for it.
Really great question, really good foresight. Again, working with the Bay Park, even working with the Van Wezel Foundation, one of the things that we have stressed upon is that we want the building to stand out. We don't want to see a parking in front of this building. So the Bay Park Conservancy, working with Walker Planning, working with us, there will be surface parking. There will be parking under the building. It's about 140, 160 spaces. But all of those details are to be worked out. It will be screened. Right now, the Bay Park Conservancy got it was, I believe, $150,000 grant or $200,000 grant from FDOT to really landscape 41 between 10th Street and Boulevard of the Arts. And so they're going to be working on that in due course to really help beautify that section of 41 between 10th Street and Boulevard of the Arts. And then they'll continue working with us to make sure that, Alan, to your point, that we really have a really good, vibrant, very full landscape entrance, to the 53 acres. Not that you want to hide everything, but you want to really at least make it soft, but make it also inviting.
Hey, Marlon, I'm going to close with the last question, if I may. Money. You've mentioned the TIF money, the penny tax. Can you tell us a little about, we've got so many exciting projects, and really compliments to staff for moving some of these ahead and working with us in partnership. It's really been a great experience. But one of the funding sources could be impact fees, multimodal and park impact fees. And when it comes to the multimodal impact fees, I think you and I have discussed that there's been $5 million or something coming in from greater downtown, and not a lot of uses of that. Is that possibly going to change so that could be TIF money, penny tax money, grant money, and multimodal to get it done?
So David, again, I don't discriminate against any funding source. So again, obviously we don't control the park impact fees, as you are well aware and probably more educated than I am in terms of the park impact fees. That's held by Sarasota County for the city of Sarasota, and they basically kind of, we have to go to them and identify the projects that we want to use it for and get into their budget. And if they have a project in the city that they want to use it for, they can use it. So, I would like to have a similar control of park impact fees that we have for the multimodal impact fees, which used to be the road impact fees. And so, I would like to work on that over the next year or two in terms of seeing how we can wrest that from Sarasota County. But again, with TIF, with Penny, using multimodal impact fees, using federal and state appropriations, using gas taxes, any source of revenue that we can use to really get these projects moving, we would look at. Obviously, we have to see also, David, by using these funds, what are we taking from that is also a priority. And so that is part of the balancing that we have to do when we take a look at some of these funds and some of these priority projects.
We understand. So thank you. I think, folks, we are about out of the time we've allotted. So unless somebody's got a burning desire for a question, any of our other board members, I'd like to thank Peter. Anybody for the final question? Okay. Well, Marlon, thank you so much. You covered a lot of ground and kind of laser focused on some things, and compliments to staff and you with the job that's getting done. We really look forward to continuing to partner with you. Some of the things you said tonight are really great, and let us know how we can help and how we can be involved in zoning matters and other planning aspects. So we want to be true partners and good residents and do our share. So
yeah, David, again, just continue keeping us honest. I have a really great staff, and I thank you for recognizing that. I can't do this job without them. And so, one of the things that I've, tried to instill in them is to always be responsive and always to be accessible. And so I hope we've lived up to that. And so again, thank you. And maybe I'll see you in a year from now.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. Have a good evening, sir.
Bye. Okay. All the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.